nice to have you. Actually,
it's free. Everywhere is free. No traffic.
I wish every day can be.
It was a very pleasurable ride. No traffic, having to shout on the road because somebody has done one crazy thing. So I'm sure it will pick up. Nigerians are going to go
tomorrow,
out. Maybe, no, even today. I'm sure later on today, people will move out, maybe watch movies, go to parks. Nigerians will always find a way to make themselves happy.
And that's why some individuals are on social media talking about there are people at the mall. Nigerians are not suffering.
There are
people at the mall. Don't be ridiculous. Well, like you heard in the Morning Express, what we do is give a voice to the unheard and give you a platform to share your perspective and your opinions on issues that have been raised on radio. We had quite the conversation this morning on trends in the papers. Fᴜᴜ had quite a lot to say, but not just Fᴜᴜ. We had Pastor Tunde Bakare, we had Bishop Kuka, amongst others, who have been saying a lot of things regarding the state of the country, security, economy, and also the absence of the president, who, of course, his aides continue to claim he is running the affairs of the nation from whatever part of the world he currently is in. It might be difficult to keep up with the itinerary of the president, honestly. I believe, as at yesterday, he was in Europe. That's what the aides tell us from France. But this is the situation of things, and like I said, Pastor Tunde Bakare, amongst others, did say quite a lot of things, and that happens to be our focus for today. Yes, we want to have a conversation around all of the reactions that have trailed the security situation in the country, with over 200 people reported killed in the past month. Well, in all of this, there have been recommendations, some that people find to be rather contentious. For example, the position of the former Minister of Defense, Lieutenant General Théophile Danjuma, retired, who has once again, this is not the first time, said that Nigerians should rise up and defend themselves. Now, the interpretation of defend yourself has been quite loose, because some people say, well, defend yourself might mean support the security agencies, and others say defend yourself might mean that to take up arms and fight if the police or the security architecture is unable to protect you. Well, what the interpretation is really left to the sense. If people do this, would this not worsen the situation at the end of the day? So I'll play you that sound, open the phone lines and get your perspective. What is the way forward? How do we address the individual issues that are being raised by men of thought? We'll be back, listen to this, and then we'll open the phone line for you.
Standing hard to do the needful for Nigeria's turnaround for the betterment of our citizens. Dear Nigerians, the past few months since that admonition in January have shown that those responsible for steering the course of our nation lack the humility and the character and the brazen abuse of power. Those entrusted with power appear determined to destabilize what is left of our political institutions and have committed themselves to obliterating the guardrails of constitutional governance. From the theater of the absurd, staged in Rivers State, with puppets on strings controlled by directors in Abuja, to the dance of shame performed by the National Assembly in their rush to suspend the Constitution and endorse through the back door the usurpation of powers by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. From the Senate, shameless people, the moral standard required of that office, to the uncouth outburst of an undistinguished senatorial misfit who tried in vain to silence the distinguished citizens attempting to turn Nigerian institutional immorality Olympics at the executive and the legislature. It's often said that these two arms of government suffer the worst forms of arrested development because they were the direct victims of the military era before our institutions finally mature. But our biggest problems in this nation are the occupiers of these institutions and executors of the Constitution. The quality of leadership in Nigeria has become so repugnant that citizens must declare thorough psychiatric evaluation before seeking election. Dear Nigerians, the events that unfold March 25, 2025 are an apt and timely illustration, which means Council of Elders. Elders, as used in this context, does not necessarily connote chronological age, but a demonstration of such wisdom, decorum, and decency that commands respect. Instead of engaging the visiting citizens in reason, factual debate, it chose to drag the hallowed chambers, and gender inclusion advocacy was appointed chairwoman of the board of women political leaders. It is our responsibility to speak up whenever a female Nigerian politician that she appeared to speak for Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan.
The sound of Lagos. Forgive me, it's mainland focus, which means that it's time for us to get your opinions on the issues that we're discussing this morning, and we're simply speaking state of thoughts, leaders of thoughts across the nation calling the president to come and attend to the issues of the country with insecurity on the top of that particular list. People are dying in the hundreds, and so far so good. No security structure has been effective in eradicating or at least minimizing the number of casualties that are reported by the papers every single week. And we do have a Pastor Tony Bakare who's calling attention to the corruption that goes on in the legislature. We have conversations around the need for psychiatric evaluation for those that we put in position of power. Do they really have the mental acumen to make decisions on our behalf? The greed, amongst other things, and how there's been a failure of the policies, although like I said, he did highlight some of the good things that this administration has done. Dana Boala responded, and maturely so. I was quite surprised at the way he responded. He said, well, yes, he's entitled to his opinion. He is happy that Pastor Tunde Bakare highlighted the good things that the presidency has done, and with regards to the other parts that needs attention, he believes that they would pay attention and be able to eventually resolve this issue. And this is me summarizing the position of Daniel Abuala following this comment. And also, don't forget the Lieutenant General, retired Danjuma, who says, well, it's about time for Nigerians to start to defend themselves. In what ways is he calling for Nigerians to defend themselves? For outside, welcome to the studio once again. Let's get your perspective on this particular issue.
Well, thank you for having me, Sage. I think I've said a whole lot already. Again, putting it on critical, these are things we've said consistently on this platform. You know, our sudden or gradual descent into tyranny, a democracy going down the rabbit hole. Institutions are supposed to be the pillars of our democracy, getting completely eroded, weakening, you know, and all of that, you know. So to the point where it's almost as if we're building a mafia state, you know. Pastor Tunde Bakare, that choice of word so succinct in this conversation, because again, the easiest way to build a mafia state, you know, is to weaken institutions and build strong individuals, you know. And we've seen people posturing, we've seen people taking positions, we've seen people putting ourselves out there, get delusional about it. We've talked about the judiciary, for example. Some of the judgments get a lot of us thinking, really, this interpretation of the law. Where is it coming from? Where is the issue of precedence, for example? And again, every time you look at how badly the reputation of the judiciary has got into at this time, you remember the former Senator Adamu Bokachua, who told us, you know, while his wife was the president of the appeal court, how they had helped politicians get judgment and all of that. And if you think Bokachua is not anything to take seriously, I also remember retired justice of the Supreme Court, politicians, their friends, their wives, their children, their relatives. And that, look, immediately politicians have realized that, look, if you don't win it through the ballot, you can win it through the courts. They're already manipulating things and all of that. And we've seen inconsistencies in judgment from Kano to Plateau State, from Plateau State to Rivers State. And it just gets you wondering. And then you go back to the National Assembly, that is also supposed to be an institution that's supposed to entrench the principles of checks and balances. And what do you get?
On the mandate of the president, they stand.
They just, you know, and look, again, we think everything should be about politics, but where's the place of governance? Where's the place of common sense? Where's the place of morality? Where's the place? So these are not issues. So at the end of the day, I hope that this message will get to where it's supposed to get to. It will be taken in good faith. We still have the opportunity. It should be about governance. You see? And that's the problem. You know, people get in, they think it's about politics. And instead of them telling the people what they've been able to do to better their lives, the next thing they keep telling you is that, oh, we're going to win the next election. Whether you like to. Again, it is what it is. And like I said earlier in the morning, if the leaders of today refused to listen to this one, and they overcame what was the absurdity of that era. So nothing is new, really. Like they always say, there's nothing new under the sun. Nigeria and Nigerians will overcome. And then on the issue of insecurity, it's very, very important that we pay attention again to the north-central part of the country. The former Minister of Defense, Lieutenant General T.Y. Danjuma, is calling for self-defense. And that brings the conversation. This is not the first time he said people should defend themselves. You know, he is also from a part of the country where these clashes would always happen. You know, again, I serve in Taraba, I know in Takum. Anytime Nigerians are called upon to defend themselves, Sage, it tells you that the government has failed its responsibility to defend the people. That's what it means. So whether you are a supporter or whatever of the president, if you also come out to tell people to defend themselves, what you are saying indirectly,
incompetence.
You are admitting that the government of the day has failed to protect the people. The incompetence of the government to protect the people. That's what you're doing. The fear with the people, full-blown anarchy. I remembered when over 40 worshippers were slaughtered in Ondo State. I remember the former governor of Ondo State, late Tağᴇ, who said that, look, this would not have happened if there was a balance of power. That, look, these guys who came with AK-47. But look, how do we confront them? That if people in that community were able to carry AK-47 too, this would not have happened. But then if we now have a situation where everybody is carrying AK-47, what happens in the society?
What happens when insecurity is even minimized and now we have civilians with AK-47s? What do they do with it?
And then you
start turning on each other.
You have a gang state, you have a Gestapo state, you have a state where people just turn on each other and then it becomes a problem. So again, as much as we feel the pain, we feel the anguish, we continue to talk about the need for the government to step up and do the right thing. I have a lot of fear to begin to accept calls for people to defend themselves, because again, these murderers who are doing these things in our communities are not coming with Dane guns. They are not even coming with shotguns or double barrel guns. They are coming with assault rifles, AK-47. And it can only be a balance of power to defend yourself against. So the institution of the state that can do it are the security operatives. And the security operatives are under the presidency. You can see now that some of the things we've been saying here have been listened to. You can now see that the vice president will be going to Plateau State today.
Yeah.
And if you read the story very well, it said it was done on the order of the president. So for people who are deflecting, say it's the governor's call, it's the governor's call. Look, maybe you don't understand that. We understand that there are roles that the governors can play too when it comes to insecurity in their state. But these are limited roles because of the fact that they don't control the security apparatus of their different states. Yes, they have roles to play, no doubt. In fact, individuals in communities also have roles to play. Traditional rulers have roles to play. But the ultimate power to secure the people in the country as we speak today is for us to speak truth to power, say the way it is, and hope that the government would do the right thing. God bless Nigeria.
Something of a slogan here. You speak to issues and not to personality. It really doesn't matter who says what. Well, we understand that there is some relevance to the speaker and what has been said, but then intelligent. So please, we would implore you to not malign anybody or speak ill of anybody just because you disagree with them. If you agree with them, you can very much buttress their point. If you disagree with them, by all means, but your understanding. I want us to have a very deep, intelligent at hand. You can reach us via the phone line 091360000410. That's how you call us. If you'd like to send a text message or a WhatsApp message, the number to send that to is 091360000430. We're also live on Facebook, by the way. We're streaming live and we can see the messages already dropping. At Milan 98.3 FM is how you find us on Facebook. Let's take our first call for the morning. Don't forget you have just a minute for your submission. Hello.
First caller again. This same this security or the economy, both of them have failed. They don't have anything to offer. That is, no matter how we try to paint this thing, no matter how they themselves try to brand it, they have failed. There's no how they will do it. Sometimes, I try to wonder if Nigeria is in the country, because it's a part of this country. I don't understand. I believe it's a human being like me that God created. So somebody will kill the person, not one, not two, three, or in 100. You understand? And for today, Bakari, I agree with all you have said. The economy, on Natasha issue, I continue to say. In my house, the sexual harassment with Akpabio, whatever, I don't know. It's a subsidy, it's a call. Let them go and find out whether Natasha is or not. But it was suspended because of misconduct. That is my point.
Okay.
Thank you.
All All right, we appreciate you for your insight. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Madam Sage. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too.
Yeah, this is the chief word. God bless you.
Amen.
Yes. My important priority issue in this country today. We are playing football and basketball, which are the lives of our citizens, of these citizens. That government has no reason to until almost 2 weeks ago. While over 200 Nigerians have been slaughtered like chicken in Plateau and Benue State. That is not excusable. And I don't blame Bola Tinubu. The people I blame is the National Assembly, the brown envelope National Assembly, that is not performing. Yeah, they are not performing.
6000410. It is mainland focus, and we're talking state of the nation. What are your thoughts of the president, if you want to describe it like that, amongst other things, in half of the country? Hello.
Hello, good morning. Madam Sage.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Fᴜʟᴜ.
Good morning, sir.
We're having it just that we play everything with politics. Our leader knows, but all of them, they know what is going on. See, aside the official statement given to us time to time, they need to come out and tell us what is happening in our land. And Mr. President being away, is it about the second term agenda? They're actually being close eyes away from all this killing? Okay, the thing is just that when we appointed, when we appointed for this man, he told us that we should not pity that he would do everything. Then why are we in France? Things are happening right here. Okay, the thing is, these people know much about what we are going through. These Fulani, I don't want to tribe. All these people killing. It's like what? They are not ghosts. These people are humans. In fact, most of them, they walk down there with bike and everything. In fact, I don't understand. The military chief will come out making we don't need official statement. Let them take steps and actually end this thing. And they're going to go by way of self-defense. When the academy was here, I told us that time, maybe we should actually be going out with anything we have. Maybe anything.
Hello. Hello. All right, do make it back if that was you. Please be aware that our Facebook stream is very well open, and we're ready to take your contribution. We're actually getting information right now that Pope Francis has died. The Vatican has announced that Pope Francis has died. He did battle ill health for a very long time, and he did the best he can to be available for all the processions, and he did the best he could. He was unable to walk, but he lived a good life. Indeed, Pope Francis. And, well, you know that there would be a process to have a new pope, but
very elaborate process.
Yes, very elaborate. Of course, there's a lot of scrutiny that goes on if you want to bring on a pope. It's a very lengthy process. You have to be sanctified to be considered worthy, to head the Vatican. The Vatican is no small structure for its size. The Vatican is one of the most powerful structure in the world, and so we hope that God grants all Catholics the fortitude to be at the loss of Pope Francis. But we talk about that briefly.
No, well, it's time he said he recovered. I think it was related to maybe his lungs or something. Yeah. But eventually, the Vatican has now announced that Pope Francis has died. Like I said, it's going to be an elaborate process to recently. But it's happened. All Catholics, we wish them well at this time. I'm sure that the talk now will be on a possible successor. Yeah. Very elaborate process. If you read up on how a pope is selected and eventually ratified by the Vatican. But again, it is what it is. That's what life brings.
Indeed. Well, he did fight very hard. He fought hard. Even with his sickness, he tried to show up as much as he could to a lot of processes. Well, that's just by the way. Let's go back to national discourse. 0913600410. State of the nation is what is on the table today. One story on the table. What are your thoughts regarding the situation that we found ourselves in Nigeria, the state of the economy? We're talking insecurity, the statements and recommendations that have been made by different political stakeholders, religious stakeholders, amongst other things. What is the way forward? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Happy Easter Monday.
Happy Easter Monday.
Also known as the Galilee Day. And may the soul of our Pope, Pope Francis, rest in perfect peace.
Yes.
Amen. My name is M쏘ɪᴜᴜ. I'm calling from Abaronje in Ikoton.
Welcome.
Yeah. it is good that Bishop Coker and of course Pastor Bakari can speak to power, and they will not be molested in any way. She's very good, unlike the ordinary man. Maybe well, to me, in talking to the leaders, he should also be able to use his good offices to liaise with the Muslim brothers, the imams, and maybe other Christian leaders to be able to specify what he said. But to me, he spoke as if he was reading a prepared speech, not somebody who was actually in Nigeria when all these things happened. For instance, Senator Natasha Muti Oduaga was not suspended because of sexual harassment. It was because of misconduct on the floor of the National Assembly. And apart from that, what happened in River State, I think he did not put it in good context. I think the president did well by declaring a state of emergency. For instance, before this state of emergency was declared, a month before it was declared, and now, if you want to compare the two, you find that there's absolute peace in River State. And there would have been, state of anarchy if he had not declared a state of emergency in River State. So nobody should blame the government for that. Right. Then finally, he was talking about the corruption of the National Assembly. I'm not an advocate of the National Assembly. I don't play the devil's advocate, but I want...
Thank you very much. I mean, it's been well over 2 minutes. Let's be considerate and allow other people to speak. Hello.
Hello, Lady H.
Yes, good morning to you.
Mr. Fuad, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you on the studio today. Oh, Lady Salo. To speak where the necessary. And for the notary extraction, those leaders, serving for Yakubu Gowan, after last number one says, to call all the leaders together, the travel. When we talk of defending yourself, you can't favor the indigent. Well, but only one person was key. There is the crisis of emergency of Obasanjo. At the end of the day, you can say, if you kill my cow, I kill my being in place of it, it means you need to sit down. To know the difference to one another and work together as a family. The best everybody has celebrated today, they were passing Easter message. Easter message was passing. The religion that created that Easter did not allow you to kill. Likewise, the other religion, that is Islam. Why we claim to be Christian, claim to be Muslim, you don't love one another, you when you don't call you kill. And you say you are a Christian, and you say you are a Muslim. For me, the best thing to do is to reach at one table, discuss the matter thoroughly. When I always refer to I know what I'm saying. He comes down to also say in my own
WhatsApp. We have good morning. All right. Let's be here. Good morning, Mainland FM. Why is President Tinubu doing this to us? Was this his life goal to come and suffocate us as a nation while himself and his family are feeding fat? Said it all. It is only those who are living in hypocrisy that will oppose what he has said. And nobody forced Mr. President to become president. If he cannot handle the situation, let him step down and take care of himself. After almost 2 years in office, there's nothing to write about this government. As I keep saying, Commander-in-Chief is not a chieftaincy title. How can we defend ourselves when we have a president? John from Ijaniki there. Another message here reads, good morning, Mr. Fuad and Sage Babalola. State government have the largest share of the blame for the insurgency in their state. If the state comes out excellent, we will not hail the federal government, but the states will take the glory. Please stop questioning your callers when they air their opinion. This is a radio station and people are entitled to their opinion, but you're using emotions and you're forgetting. Tunde from Ijegun. Why can't we question people's opinion? It's a dialogue, it's not a monologue. If you say something and I want to inquire, I should be able to ask you questions to tell me why you have the opinion that you have. This is not just to take comments, it's a discourse. We're talking.
And let me tell you why I question opinions, if that's what bothers you. It is because sometimes we probe into your mindset, we probe into your thinking pattern and ensure that the conversation is factual and factual alone.
Well, thank you very much for your comment, but again, like we said, this is a platform for discussion. It's not a platform for monologues.
And let me also tell you that it's a privilege. That opinion you are talking about, we can as well take it away. We own the platform.
Fuad Said, come on. Let's take another message here. Good morning, Seja and Fuad. The word defend yourself from General Danjuma was very explicit. were they not in having the ability of protecting life and properties, are unconcerned about the plight of Nigerians. Hence, he has resorted with absurd and unreasonable. James Fᴜᴜᴜ, if you'd like to correct the first paragraph of your comments so I can understand, I would appreciate. Lakwa from Ikpaja. Pastor Tunde Bakare has spoken the mind of well-meaning Nigerians, which of course is not different from what we've been discussing and stressing on this platform. Come 2027, it is going to be the ruling party versus the Nigerian masses. Let everyone that has come of age go out and collect their PVC and come out like never before in the coming election to vote out this government that is not ready to attend to the plight of the masses, the ones they claim they are governing. Let us use our PVC, our vote, to defend ourselves. I tried to call in yesterday during political roundtable but did not get through. The analysis yesterday was deep. It was nothing short of calculus, complex advice, and Atiku Abubakar pulling his weight behind them to give them his total support. What? And Obedient says that they would support the ticket if it's Peter Obi as the top and maybe a Kwakwanso as the vice or a Bala Mohammed as the vice, and Atiku should just, be the support system.
That's his own answer, because my question was, if it was Atiku on top, would they support the ticket?
Hello, Babalola. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Ogami Fuad, how are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Peter Mons is my name from Shomulu. Babalola,
Yes.
I am a little bit happy this morning. You know why?
Why?
Because I hear Tunde Bakare's voice this morning. I'm happy that you played that. I was in a particular radio station on Friday when I was invited. I particularly called out Tunde Bakare. I called him out with a loud voice that I want to hear his voice. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I hear his voice. I'm happy. Though he had become a little bit technical with the use of words, and sometimes he became figurative with the use of his words. I agree with him, but still, I think what I hear from him this morning, for me, is still the Tunde Pastor Bakare of 2012, though with some words, used another word. Then he was saying, this government must go. This government must go in 2012. But what does he say today? He said we have to declare a state of emergency on this government, and we are going to do that in elected government. This one, we are going to use our vote to declare a state of emergency on, at least to cast a vote of no confidence on this government. And Nigerians as well, since 13, we don't have a government, because of government. We will declare a state of emergency on them.
We appreciate it.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Kingdom and I'm calling from Monipa.
Good morning.
Okay, so it was good hearing Pastor Kuka. It's been a while I heard Pastor Kuka talk on recent happenings in the government, and Tunde Bakare joining that line. This government seems to be, so many PDP governors will be, that is not on the news today, but my take is, this is just 2 years in the government, and we're already concerned about 2027. We are not concerned about the things going on all over the state. The president has left. No one knows his whereabouts. You can rule from anywhere. Believing in this nation, and yet the politicians are making you have a second thought. But I believe Nigeria will be great again. God bless Nigeria. Good morning.
Bless you too. Hello.
Good morning, Sage and
Good morning.
Yes, Chipu from Ojo. What have they been doing with the security vote that have been given to them since? Secondly, those who are around the president, they should be very, very careful. They should go and read the book of 1 Kings chapter 22 from verse 1 to the end, but they should dwell on verse 16. What happened to Ahab? When they were deceived by those who were, when he was deceived by those who are around him, he was consumed in the war front. They should be very, very careful. The president's wife is a pastor. I am made to know. If he's hearing us, he should go and read the book of 1 Kings chapter 22, verse 1.
Bless you too. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Maroga?
Morning,
Agree to, sir.
Morning, sir.
This is Okangwelena.
Yes.
Happy to start to you.
Same to you.
You see where everything that is absurd is what is playing out. And very soon you will hear that the attack dogs will come after him. Just expect them. They will come. Whether the president will still go there to campaign, by all means,
So if he doesn't come, he knows that that's not the way he wants to take and win. He's not true for whether you like it or not. I won. Go to court. The court will still do the abracadabra. And that is it. I don't want to say anything. I thank that pastor. He has told you the truth. Bye bye.
All right. Okangwelina decided to melembe today. I'm proud. I'm so proud. Thank you so much for your decision to do that today and speak to the issue. But before I continue to take contribution, the security vote, I'm very confused. I know you cannot probe it, but I mean, do they pay the security agencies? Is it to provide relief for victims of insecurity? Because what exactly is the security vote for? Is it to cater to people after they've been victimized, or what exactly is confusing?
We have a fundamentally flawed system.
Right.
There's a structural problem. Where we've picked this structure from, at the state level, there's a security structure that the governor controls. That's why you have state police.
Right.
So the monies are there at the state level to ensure the state police functions effectively. We don't have that structure here.
Okay.
The state police command structure we have is still controlled at the federal level.
Right.
The governor cannot issue orders, for example, to the commissioner of police. You understand? So what you now find is that these security votes are now used by the governors, to support whatever is existing as a security structure that they cannot control. They buy vehicles for them, support them with ammunition. I've seen governors, for example, sometimes armored tanks. So that's what we're saying. Look at the call for state police. That somehow everything has mellowed down.
Yeah.
Nobody's really talking about
the
it again.
governors are not in support of it, so
it's not even the governors alone. Even at the federal level, how sure are we that there's a serious commitment to state policing at that level? Yesterday we were saying it. Even at the local government level, you also have a policing structure in where we copied this whole thing from. So what you have is a synergy. If the crime gets to the point where the local structure cannot handle it, the state police they call the federal police to come in, maybe to support, or there are jurisdictions. So this crime, for example,
this is for the FBI, this is for the county.
So if it's about terrorism, look,
right.
if a terrorist act happens at the local level in the US, the local sheriffs will first attend to it. You don't say it doesn't concern me. They will first go in there. They might call for help from the state police, and then if the culprit is apprehended, it becomes a federal crime. So, and you have that synergy. But here, you say you are giving security votes to these governors, but the security structure of the state is not in their control. So it's difficult to hold them responsible because what is supposed to be used to secure the people, they are not in charge.
I buy your official car, but I can ask you to help me submit later. I'm going to read Facebook messages. We have a few. John Bernard, he says, good morning, Teja, Mr. Fuad. Mr. Bakari has said it. Oh, okay. I read this via WhatsApp already. This was happened when you send your messages through multiple platforms. We have Femi Festus who says, good morning, Mainland FM. It's not a normal thing and people have moved on. Even General Danjuma said people should protect themselves, which means the government have failed. I pray we get to morning, Mr. Fuad, and all leaders are advising her citizens to sisters. If that is the case, weapons Bakari politically because he was among those who sponsored the protest against Jonathan in 2012
or supported.
Support.
Okay.
Okay.
Support.
Okay.
It's almost as if he financed it.
That's how I was looking at your face. So sometimes I
was
want
very
to think,
active during the protest. Yeah.
Sometimes I want to think that he's reacting because the villa has favored his cause. Otherwise, if he had succeeded with Buhari's ticket, or if he is part of this government, would he be speaking up now? But I've chosen to ignore the messenger and focus on the message, which for me is very apt. I like the way he was direct in mentioning names rather than generalizing. All of us who are watching the whole drama from the presidency to the Senate to security issues know the truth. I respect the clergyman and agree with all his position. But Mr. Fuad, I want to find out if Bayo Ononga has reacted to Pastor Bakari's message. Daniel Bwala has actually responded. He was very, very mindful, very demure in his response. There was no insulting. He just spoke to the issue. Daniel Bwala has responded.
The Glasgows can still come. Maybe they are still writing it.
Mr. Bayo can try to talk. But he's spokesperson on policy. What really is his business with all these things? But yeah, whatever. We can easily predict what his response will be. If I take on the government now, they will come for me. Mr. Ford, you didn't take the last part of my message, just the SDP. James Ogbona from Oshodi.
Who the PDP can present?
Yes.
I've told you to forget about the PDP now in 2027 presidential election.
That's very rude.
It's not
rude. That's very rude.
Okay. You have governors of a party telling you already that they will be working for the president. So why do we have to bother ourselves with them?
It's still rude. Prince Leo Zoma says, Sage and Fuad, happy Easter and good morning. Pastor Tunde Bakare has spoken nicely, bravely, and true to power. Unfortunately, both this government and its supporters will begin to attack him and reject the message, which is very apt. They purposely take this route all the time because they know that our electoral connected institutions have been allegedly pocketed by the present government, and therefore our votes may not matter in 2027 at the end of the day. But we, the people, must resist all their antics because Nigeria belongs to all of us. Again, the insecurity will not stop under this government because we know the antecedent of some of the appointees of this present government. Finally, the government's re-election bid is more important to them than tackling insecurity head-on. Prince Leo Zoma from Isolo, thank you very much. I appreciate your insight. Let's take calls. Hello. Hello. All right, do make it back if that was you. Let's take another one. Hello, morning to you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. This is Fᴏᴜ.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Like the clergymen, when the president and the National Assembly were taking all this decision, none of them speak.
Okay.
It is now that the damage has been done that most of them are coming out now to come when all these things were happening. Sometimes, when I listen to some of these, we discussed this issue on this platform. You remember that one of these African countries that the president brought one bill, whether a financial bill or something.
Kenya, you're talking about
Kenya. Yes, the Kenya, and people resist. What did the president do? He has to withdraw it back. Are we really serious as a country? Are we serious?
Thank you.
It's a pity. Thank you.
Sir.
I like this word.
Happy Easter, Pastor.
I've not been picking my call, so is it not even better that some pastors are talking now? Some are not even talking at all, you know. And all of these things is because a lot of them, they are benefiting from the corrupt system. For I thought, is it your money? So tomorrow, person will now tell you, don't collect bribe. You see, I'm a pastor. I don't support any form of corruption. This thing, these people, they know what they are doing. And it's good that people are talking. And Tunde Bakare has been fiery, but I don't know what politics. This is about Nigerians that are dying in Plateau, in Benue. This is about hunger. This is about 50,000 naira now cannot buy you anything. I pray this man should succeed. I want this country to succeed. I am not against anybody. But the way things are going in this country now, it's not palatable to I wanted to call you. 2027 is the house of God. We can permutate, we can cap.
Good morning.
Morning to you, sir.
I want to actually appreciate Babalola for her good work. She's been doing quite a lot, and because last week she was nominated. So let's be.
So you don't vote.
She really deserves what she's getting because I've been listening to this station for about a year now, and in her, you understand. Once she just keep coming out, you understand everything in your time. So I'm not surprised that she's nominated.
Have you voted?
She's quite good in her job. I'm going to vote for her actually.
Okay. Would you like to comment on the issue today? To maybe say anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Let me just quickly say on the Bakare. I think it's commendable that Bakare has come out. Those are most of the things that we've been saying here, you understand? And I think because it's one of those voices that people are going to hear, you understand? He's been doing quite a nice job.
Have a great day. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Alabala is my name.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy Easter to our listeners.
Happy Easter.
And the power under. Is there this kind of opportunity in the north? Whereby
listen to radio? Huh.
No. I knew they listen to radio. I said something. I thought you guys will talk about it. When he said nobody become president of this country without the northern support.
And I said yes. We talked about it too. That nobody becomes president too without the South. It's not just about
God
the North.
Bless you. That's why something like that on my Facebook. the northern elite are the ones killing their people just because of them to get power. Yes. Yes, already part.
Just wait. We can't say that.
Let me talk. I have my 1 minute.
Look, you still can't say that.
But that kind of generalization, the northern elites are the ones killing their people.
Okay, let me take it back.
Okay.
Let me take it back. But why is it that when it is time of election, that is when you will see the rising in killings? When last did this northern call themselves and lock themselves inside the room and tell themselves, people like you need to go to the north and be saying this kind of something on radio? It's like they know those people that are killing them. Why is it when the election is coming, that's when the insecurity will be going higher and higher? They need to tell themselves, but let me tell you something, this will never stop Tinubu 2027.
All right.
2021.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
You say what?
Don't
mind bad, please. Let's hear what you say. Don't mind him. Don't mind him.
I know talking a joke now, I joke with it.
They say northern elites are the one killing the people. You guys don't talk out. Is that correct?
No, it's going around now.
Oh my God.
It's going around. See, Ogafwa, let's tell ourselves the truth. You see, we Nigerians will always do and Benue. We'll continue. I'm not justifying killing. We'll continue, Ogafwa.
Why?
We'll continue because the root is not being, what is the causes?
The foundation of the problem is not attended.
Yes, use clashes has been there for long. It was late during Jonathan, is it Buhari's Parada? One Reverend Father intervened and partially settled that issue. Ogafwa, the criminality has moved to certification level. People disguise as anything. Ogafwa, let me tell you something, sir. In this Lagos, Yai Senator Yai, his head was killed, right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm. It was said that
simply because, yes, that is allegedly. And the man insisted, simply because the criminals were dressed in military uniform. It was later that it was dressed, those guys just wear military uniform. Let me tell you, we that were from Northeast, the way you differentiate Boko Haram Nigerian army, because Boko Haram they have beards and they can wear covers, they wear anything. But they dress the military. When you meet them in a checkpoint, you know that these people are Boko Haram. But they are protest. So the point I'm trying to make is this. People can disguise as a flying headsman as anything and commit crime and go. The elders, because of sentiment, other tribal sentiment, religious sentiment, etc., they don't want to go into root causes.
Thank you.
Last year, the minister, governor of Plateau that is making noise. Just last year, about 2 gun factories were discovered by military, Nigerian security.
Thank you. It's that's you contributed quite a lot, but I needed you to establish your point so nobody misunderstands what you said so far. There's been a lot of conversations around impersonation, even with the IPOB situation that has happened as well. The Southeast, there's been impersonation that the people who are pretending to represent these organizations to wreak havoc on the country, amongst other things.
So when I address the issue of insecurity,
right.
That is why we from Mgsmåɪᴜ Ijoh has made it political. He thinks that there's political intentions to it. Again, like he said, why is that the insecurity in the north at that time was political, and one of the reasons why Jonathan was voted out, so people are deploying it again. But do you know what? All over the world, people are not wired to behave properly. I told Okpe the last time we were having this conversation. It's not as if they are angels. In those cities where you find zero, you are apprehended and punished severely.
Punishment is damning, and you cannot escape it.
You cannot escape it. So, look, whether it is Fulani, Asmen, whether it is Jukum, whether it is Steve, whether it is gunmen or non-government, any part of the country, the job of the government is to go into these issues and resolve it. It's not for us to sit here and begin to throw blames and say, that is why the government has said, look, we know what the problem is. Give me your mandate, I'll fix it. Let them fix it. That's what we're saying.
China is very clear. If you're caught as steal that money, you reconsider, am I ready to die? And then you act appropriately. That's just what it is.
Talk from now till tomorrow, say it is Jukun, it is this, it is that, it is elders, it is farmers. The people we have in government today sought the mandate of the people because they told us they can fix the problem. They know what the problem is. So if they keep coming back to tell us what the problem is, then Why did we give them our mandate?
And that's why Lieutenant General is telling us to go and defend ourselves.
Because the people that are supposed to defend the people, protect the people, have failed in it.
Self-defeat and hypocrisy to rationalize what self-defense truly connotes in a manifestly pervasive state of general insecurity and state-aided existential threat and ethno-religious cleansing, enjoying persistent recurrence and undisguised impunity. We have self-defense simply means equipping yourself enough to be able and actually repelling with commensurate force violent attack against invaders and terrorists attacking you. And to further expound, launching preemptive attack against invaders and terrorists besieging your communities, killing, kidnapping, raping, maiming, and destroying the lives and properties of the local, indigenous, peaceful people, and also logically and constitutionally enabled. Pastor Tunde Bakare and retired General T.Y. Danjuma have spoken the bitter truth, and the earlier the good people of Nigeria embrace reality of this and do the needful to defend themselves. Thank you, Leke from Alimosho. We appreciate your insight on the matter. We have here, good morning, Mainland FM. This morning on the issue of insecurity, the first is political will. Sage, there's a video on social media of the Nigerian military shouting and pleading with the government to give weapons, and also that they have been instructed not to go after acts who gave them the order not to go after these terrorists. Secondly, their local government taken over by these terrorists, and people in power continue to play God with the lives of people of the land. We're told to protect ourselves, but when we do, we'll be thrown in jail and sentenced to it. This is what happens when we create strong men instead of strong institutions. This is a message from Sean. We have here, by your trend of thoughts, they won't fix it. Yours are beggarly. Something from Obanikora. I don't really know what that is, but we have here from Fᴜᴜ. Fᴜᴜ says, happy Easter to all of us in the studio. How I wish every journalist can speak through to authority like Fuad. Things would have not been this bad. Well done. God's protection on you always. A day without listening to you, my friend, told me is not always complete. Ah, that's so nice. How do you feel, Fuad? I'll read one more message and call it a wrap. Good morning. But where I have an issue with his broadcast, but where he said the government has made progress on increasing our national reserve. But why didn't he compare the humongous amount of money borrowed by this administration alone with the so-called progress made and nothing out of time? Thank you very much for your messages. I try as much as I can, but we definitely appreciate you for your insight, Fuad. Thank you for your analysis. We appreciate you as well. We'll go on a break. We'll come back at 10 for Global View. We'll also talk about international stories and keep you abreast what is happening beyond the borders of Nigeria. I'm Sage Babalola. Please stick with us. The Morning Express continues.